That's crazy.
That's cool. I wonder how much farther it goes down from the water level. So today is Memorial Day, and last night we got a heck of a storm. I am not sure how much rain we ended up getting, but it came down hard for a long time. And it filled our pond up. It got all the way up to the top of the overflow pipe over there. It looks like now it's down probably a couple inches. The pond is starting to drain. But when we get that much rain, it's always a problem for the barn and the livestock. So we're going to see if we can get them moved today. The one good thing about getting that much rain is it does help clean out the pond a little bit. It helps flush out the duckweed problem that we have and just flush it down the drain and into the creek, and eventually that'll get into the river, flow down to the Gulf of Mexico, I guess. So this is on the back side of the dam. This is the exit of the overflow pipe. You can't see it because of these branches hanging low, but with the pond being this full, our little creek here is flowing pretty good. So the plan for today is to move the livestock out of this muddy barnyard. We're going to move them across the road to this pasture over here. It's been resting for 3 weeks now, and I overseeded it like 5 weeks ago. I've been really trying to keep them off it as long as possible, but considering how muddy it is, this will be a better spot for them. But I've got a couple things that I need to fix over here first with a little bit of this gravel. So I've got a gate that's got a pretty big gap at the bottom, maybe close to like a foot, and a lamb could crawl out from underneath it. So I need to get that gap filled in, and then the entrance to the barnyard is like a big mud puddle. So I need to get that filled in as well, and then we can go ahead and move the livestock. Okay, go ahead. Okay. All right, Rebecca's just getting this packed down, and then we can go ahead and move the livestock. All right, time to move the animals. So after all that effort to try to get Ellie to not come in the barnyard, Ellie is in the barn. She found her way through. You must have crawled through that gate. Huh, Ellie? Laying next to your boyfriend? Time to go across the road. Let's go.
Maya's already headed.
Maya's going. Come
Come
on.
on. Come on, Yuyus.
Come on here, buddy. Watch out, chicken. You're getting trampled.
You guys are going the wrong way.
There goes Larry. All right, finally they get it. Here they go. Yeah.
Get in there, baby. Find a way. There go all the babies all together.
Well, we got everything set up in here. We got a water trough in the pasture, water trough in the barn. All the gates are shut and locked.
Yes.
So probably leave them in here for at least the next week or so. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let the barn dry out a little bit.
Hopefully.
So, hopefully. So here in the pig pen, right between this big old tulip tree, that thing is huge, probably 3.5 foot diameter tree. And then we got a hackberry. There is this old well that is here. It's a shallow dug well. And as we get down here, this concrete right here has sunken down. Can you see that? And this gap has formed between the lid and the well. It's probably almost a 3-inch gap right there. So that's quite a big gap. And we're going to have to do something about this because we don't want the piglets or the pigs moving this around and falling in this well. So we're going to have to finally address it. It has been covered up for the last couple, for the last, as long as we've owned the property. But this gap has gotten huge. And I think a lot of it has to do with these trees. The roots have obviously compromised this well. And I think it's shifting everything. So there was an old house that sat over here where we park our equipment that was probably built, I'm going to guess late 1800s was when it was built, and this was probably the well for that house. So we've never had this open. We don't know what it looks like inside. But to do that, we're going to have to probably clear out all of the trees and brush in here. So let's go grab a chainsaw, do a little bit of cleaning up, and then we'll finally look inside this well. On top, there's this old, grinding stone, right, where you sharpen blades with it, and that's covering the old well, where the old well would go. Like the hand pump would sit on here. Here's the bolts, actually, look. The bolts are still in here from the old hand pump. There's one. This one's broken off. But the well pump would sit on there, and then you could hand pump the well. And then later on, it looks like they must have added a water hydrant because it's right here next to it, and you can see it froze and busted. There's a whole split going down this pipe. Can you guys see that? The pipe is split where it must have been full of water at some point in time and froze, but they must have put a pump, like a well pump, down here in here at some point in time. There's some writing on the concrete. We can't necessarily tell what it says. We may clean that up a little bit just to try to tell, because we think there might be a date on here.
don't fall in. Oh, there's some cool rocks down there.
Definitely an old hand-dug well. It's cool down there.
That's crazy. It's not very deep.
No, it's not. What do you think? 10 feet maybe?
Unless it's full of water.
It's not that full. I bet up here on the high ground that never really filled very full of water. It's got bricks at the top,
Yeah.
stone at the bottom, concrete around the bricks. I'm going to say somebody came back and put the concrete around it later. I'm going to say that the bottom of the well is older than the top of the well.
Yep. Those are some big rocks going down there. Huge stones. Those would be so expensive today.
Yeah, they would.
That's crazy. I'd love to have the stones in there, though. Those are awesome.
Go ahead. I'll watch you with. I'll get a chair and just watch you.
Lower me down.
Look at that. I mean, that almost looks like boards. I think it's this old bark, maybe.
Maybe.
There's definitely
Branches and stuff.
old stuff in there. See, that mostly looks like sandstone, or sandstone at the bottom, maybe. That's cool. I wonder how much farther it goes down from the water level.
I don't know if you can really see how big those stones are.
Yeah. It's pretty neat.
It's a lot of work.
Yep.
They didn't have probably big tractors when
No, you know,
they
that's
put
why
this in.
Somebody stuck a ladder down in there and they were down in that hole. Or maybe it was a rope and they climbed in and out. You would never do that today. It'd be too unsafe.
Not in this country.
Not in no, yeah, I'm sure it happens all over the world, just not here.
Meissner. And that is another name. Myrtle?
Yep, that's his wife's name.
Myrtle.
Pretty sure. Let's see how deep to the water. All right, right there is the water. It's like 10.5 feet down. That's to the top. Let's see where the bottom is. Oh, there's the bottom. Right there. 17 feet deep. That's how deep the well is. So a little bit of history on the property. So my great-great-grandfather owned this property from 1926 to, where was it, 1940s, somewhere in there. And then one of our friends, me and my sister's friends that lived down the road, their grandfather bought this property in 1948. So it's kind of cool that us and our friends both had grandparents that owned this property. So we're looking at this well, and it has been repaired at some point in time. Somebody's put concrete around it, put new bricks at the top. And our friend's grandparents were Clarence and Myrtle Meissner. And if you look at the top of this well, right here you have CLA, and the Clarence is gone, missing. And over here it says Myrtle Meissner. And then 7/13/1951, this is when they repaired this well. So my friend's grandparents repaired this well. They put the concrete at the top, and they probably put this about a 1.5 layer of bricks around the top of this to fix the top. And all this older stone, as you look down inside, that's the older part of the well. That's probably from the 1800s. So one thing about this well that has surprised me is with this big tree pushing up this side and with this tree over here pushing in to the other side, I really thought this would be full of tree roots. And when you look down it, I don't see any roots whatsoever in there. Like, I really thought that this well was going to be like totally compromised, like walls falling in, roots growing through it, and it's probably looks about the same way it did 100 years ago, you know? It's kind of crazy. I really thought that it'd be in worse shape. So back to our dilemma. We've got this well that happens to be right inside of our pig pen, and we don't want them to be able to shift the top of it, right? We don't want them to be able to push that concrete where there's a possibility that an animal could fall inside of it. So we've got a few choices. We got to figure out exactly what we want to do. One thing we can do is we put the top back on. Just get it back on as best we can, and then we can fence around this so that there's no way that the pigs could get inside, or at least easily get to the concrete. And one of the other choices is we have some bigger pieces of concrete, and we could put a bigger piece of concrete on here, one that's heavier, harder for them to move, but probably wouldn't fit as nice as that one. So what we decided to do for now, which this is by no means the permanent fix, we're going to have to come up with a long-term solution for this later on, but we're going to go ahead and put the lid back on. We're going to see if we can get that, it's like an octagon shaped lid. We're going to see if we can get that to fit where it doesn't move around as much. I'll try to get it to fit tighter. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back. We got a bunch of concrete mix left over from the fencing project, and we're going to concrete around the lid to seal it up so that there's no gaps. And that'll be like a temporary fix for now. It should help hold it in place, should, you know, cover up the edges and everything. And that's what we're going to try to do.
There's a big hole right here.
Can't have that.
Ooh. About to fall off.
I need to back out from it now. I think we're in the right spot. All right, I got a T-post in here. I'm gonna pry up on the lid. Rebecca's gonna back up. Slowly back up. Yeah, go turn your wheels that way. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, you're out. Okay, I'm gonna lift this up. See if you can get that under that lip.
Right here?
Yeah. Should we make it down in this little hole and get it off of this? Then it is sitting on that brick now.
Yeah, it is.
So if we got it off of that one brick, it might sit down a lot easier. Good way to ruin an axe. Splash. One brick down. All right, let's see if we can get it to sit down now. All right, it is down on that side now. See if we can pull this back out. Oh, God. Part of doing business.
That looks a lot better.
It does look a lot better. There's a little
but not big enough.
Gap right there we need to fill in.
Yeah.
Oh, we may need another bucket for this to start with. It's not gonna be perfect. So we don't have mortar. That might actually work better. We just got some concrete mix left over. I know I'm gonna get it in the comments. I can already hear it about how that's not gonna stick to the concrete. And I understand that, but there's enough pitting in this old concrete that hopefully it will lock in place enough that the pigs can't push it off of here. It's pretty well locked in place the way it is. This is just to really seal up the gaps and just kind of help keep it from shifting, you know?
We got pigs coming any day.
Yeah, we got pigs coming soon, so it'd be nice to get this done before they show up. because they're pretty small when they first arrive. All right.
Write our initials in it.
Well, I was just thinking that exact same thing, but this is nothing I want to be proud of and put my initials in. I don't think so. All right, there you go. That is the shoddiest well repair on YouTube. So today was the first time that we had ever looked inside of that well. And the abstract for our property goes back to 1860, so we know people lived here then and then prior to that. We're not sure exactly when that well was dug. So we're going to guess it was actually before 1860. So that puts it
160.
Yeah, 150, 160 plus years on that well, possibly. And that's a pretty neat old well. Rebecca wanted to save all the rocks.
There were some really cool big stones in there.
Yeah, I mean, and just think about somebody going down 17 feet. Is that what it was?
17 and a half.
17 and a half feet or so down into the well, and hand digging that and then stacking all of those big stones. That was a heck of a job for somebody. That was probably like an all summer project, kind of like our fencing project it's turned into. But that was pretty neat. And that well had just seemed like it had gotten worse because the gap had gotten bigger between the lid, and we could actually see inside of it. So,
well, it looked like those two trees have grown so big that they've started pushing the sides of the well in.
Yeah.
And it's raised and
that concrete top,
yeah.
and those trees have gotten bigger, and it's lifted up those two corners.
Yeah.
But I think we got the lid actually. We removed one of the bricks that had lifted, and we got the lid down in there where it was really kind of locked in place. I don't think it was really going to go anywhere once we got it down in there. And then with the cement around the edges and then covering up the hole in the top, I think it's good to go.
Yep.
At least this year, you know. We'll keep our eye on it, of course. You know, we don't want any livestock to get hurt, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool experience today, going back and I guess almost like going back in time looking down that well.
Yep. We haven't done that in a long time since we've torn stuff down and cleaned these buildings out.
Oh, that's right. I mean
it's been a while.
Yeah, so yeah, when we first bought the property, there were so many old buildings and everything, and
cool finds.
Cool finds, yeah. You're just going through, you're finding the old mason jars and the old antiques and different things that were left in some of these buildings.
Yeah.
And that's even older.
Yeah.
Than that. So, but it's been a fairly nice day to be outside today. Not at least it wasn't miserably hot.
Yeah.
But it is Memorial Day, and we're gonna stop, and we got steaks to cook tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And jalapeno poppers.
Yep. So we're gonna call it a day, and cook out and enjoy the evening. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.